Vaping, e-cigs, e-cigarettes, big thing going on now. And a lot of advertising you're hearing and seeing of ways to stop smoking and use e-cigarettes. So we thought we'd go to the experts. And pulmonologist Dr. Timothy Dahm from Metro Health, University of Michigan Health is my guest. And Tim, good morning. Good to see you. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks, Andy. Thanks for having us and for talking about this really important topic.
Yeah, it really is. It's being marketed, obviously, to younger people. This is the cool thing to do, the vaping.
Right.
You don't have the drastic, maybe, results you would have with cigarettes, or people are trying to stop smoking. So let's start from the beginning. And what are they and what's in them?
Right, so electronic cigarettes, it's a general term, and there are multiple devices out there, but they all include a canister that has nicotine, flavorings. They all have other chemicals as well. And when you inhale, they're superheated to create a vapor that's then inhaled into the lungs.
Okay, so it's not smoke, but it's a vapor.
Correct.
So that's a better thing?
Well, that's a great question. If you are a smoker and smoking tobacco products, I would tell you that electronic cigarettes are probably safer.
Okay.
My main message, though, if you are not a smoker at this time, that electronic cigarettes carry clear risks and that you should not start on them.
Don't get started. You see a lot of folks, it looks cool.
Correct.
And so their friends are doing the vapor e-cigs now.
Right.
So,
I think the kids have gotten the message that cigarettes are bad, so they don't want to smoke cigarettes. But they still think that smoking something is cool, and so they have the sense that electronic cigarette may be safer, but that is not necessarily true.
What do you get from nicotine? Is that high you get, or that
right?
Whatever?
Nicotine, it's actually a stimulant.
Okay.
But it's very interesting in terms of its effect on the brains, because smokers will tell you that it has a calming effect on them.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's the addiction to the nicotine. They need that nicotine to stay calm. Otherwise, they feel uneasy.
Jumpy, jittery things, or what?
And it's important to keep in mind that nicotine has a much stronger effect on a developing mind, on an adolescent brain. Our brains are still developing until age 25.
Okay.
And that nicotine has an impact on these young brains. And these companies are smart. They know if they get these kids addicted young, they have a lifetime customer, because it's so hard to break that nicotine addiction.
Wow. Are the tobacco companies involved with the
They are.
vapor?
They see it as a future. They know it's a huge market.
Yeah. I mean, dumb if they don't, really,
Correct.
because they think they can get in. So what are the true health ramifications
Right.
of this?
There's multiple. So just in terms of the nicotine, we've already touched on that nicotine has an adverse effect on these young developing brains. But these devices have so many other chemicals in them. A lot of them we don't know. It's not a very regulated market. So these devices, they don't have to go through an FDA approval process. So you really don't know what you're getting. But we know that some of these devices can have heavy metals like tin, nickel, or lead.
That's not very good.
No, that's not good.
Doesn't sound good to me.
Even these small particles can have an adverse impact on the lungs and increase inflammation in the body.
Jeez. Hey, honey, I'm going to go out and smoke some aluminum pretty soon.
Yeah, not a good idea.
Not a good idea at all. So if you are not a smoker and you think it looks cool, don't start. That's the key thing.
Correct.
Dr. Timothy Dahm is a pulmonologist from Metro Health, University of Michigan Health as well. But what about, is there a difference between the vapors and the e-cigs? Are there two different things, or it's all the same thing?
It's all the same thing. Vaping and e-cigarettes are used similarly.
So many people are involved in this now. Is this a growing problem?
Absolutely. The youth market is huge for vaping. Yeah, I saw a statistic from last year that over 3.5 million middle and high school kids had vaped in the past month.
What?
And it's an insane amount. And like I mentioned, if young minds get exposed to nicotine, there is a high risk of becoming addicted to that drug.
Sure.
And then once you're addicted, it is so hard to break that cycle.
Someone wants to quit smoking, and they're really, and I've heard ads on our radio station before that from the national advertisers who are saying, this is a great way to stop smoking, and the testimonials are saying, oh, I feel so much better, and I haven't had a cigarette for a long time, but I use my Juul, I think, is one of the brands.
Right.
Not good.
Right, it's a great question. So if you're already a smoker, like I mentioned, I think e-cigarettes are probably a safer alternative. And I have had patients where e-cigarettes have helped them get off tobacco products. I would make the argument, though, that there are safer alternatives. There are FDA-approved nicotine inhalers, which have gone through the approval process, so we know that they're relatively safe.
Okay.
And don't have some of these other toxic chemicals in them. And even Metro Health has multiple resources to help smokers
Well, I was
quit.
going to ask you that.
Yeah, we have smoking cessation classes. We have a Better Breathers Club. We have pulmonary rehabilitation, and all these address tobacco use. And
I've been lucky. I've never been a smoker for whatever reason, because my parents smoked a lot, but maybe that's why I didn't become a smoker. And I can appreciate the fact that the addiction is huge.
Right.
And how do you get away from that? And it's tough. See your doctor.
Correct. I encourage you to talk to your doctor about if you're addicted to nicotine, and especially cigarettes, please talk to your doctor. And there are resources in the community available to help people quit.
Dr. Timothy Dahm, pulmonologist, University of Michigan, or Metro Health, University of Michigan Health. As a pulmonologist, you've seen it all. And I'm sure you've seen the detriment and the damage that smoking can do. And if you were to tell a smoker right now, you don't realize what you're doing to yourself. Here's what you're doing to your lungs. What are they doing to their lungs right now?
Right. I would tell you this, and it's not just their lungs. Smoking is the greatest individual risk factor for most people to their overall health. Lung disease, cardiac disease, increased risk of cancer, kidney disease. So it affects the whole body. But yeah, as a pulmonologist, we see so many people with emphysema, asthma that's worsened by their tobacco use. It can have a devastating effect.
I was doing a talk show years ago on television, and I had a surgeon bring in a section of a lung, of smoker's lung, and it looked like a charred piece of meat.
It's dramatic, yeah.
It's dramatic.
Right.
So, and holes had been eaten through it.
Right.
That was pretty startling. Pretty startling. And you've seen it all. So the best thing to do, obviously, stop smoking. Don't smoke if you can't, and see your doctor. Get the best advice. And Metro Health at the same time, right? Dr. Timothy Dahm is our guest. Tim, thank you so much for coming in. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Andy.